So I have talked about the law of attraction a zillion times on this channel, but I've never done a video like this today. So today I am going to flip the things that I normally talk about just a little bit and give you 3 scientific explanations for why the law of attraction works. So this is good for you if you're feeling a little skeptical or if you're new to this whole thing. So if it sounds like something you're interested in, then be sure to keep watching. Hello gorgeous, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jen. I am a spiritual life and business coach. This is my YouTube channel where I create new content for you every week, all about the art of creating your best life through mindset and manifestation. If you are looking to change your mindset, achieve your goals, and uplevel your life, then you are going to want to join me on this journey. So please go ahead and hit that subscribe button. The law of attraction proven by science. Yes, actually that can be a thing. Well, maybe not in so many words, but I'm going to share with you guys some ideas today that I have learned over the years that have really helped me to understand the law of attraction and to explain it in many different ways. So I know what you're gonna say though, if you've been here for a while, the way I usually talk about law of attraction is definitely the woo-woo way. I love to use the analogy of energy and vibration to explain the law of attraction. So before we get into the rest of the video, maybe I'll pause here for a moment and just explain it one more time, just in case you are new to this whole thing. The way that I usually explain the law of attraction is that basically we live in a universe of energetic beings, and we ourselves are actually made up of energy. So even though you're looking around you right now and you're seeing, something beside you that looks solid, actually at an atomic level, it is actually just a bunch of atoms that are vibrating around. And there's actually a whole bunch of space in between those atoms. And that brings me to the second part of it. So since we know that we are all comprised of atoms and these atoms are vibrating at a certain frequency, it is also important to understand that the very nature of the universe itself is vibration. I have a vibration, you have a vibration, this wall hanging has a vibration, my cat has a vibration. So what we are trying to do with the law of attraction is basically to use these two concepts together in order to kind of backwards hack our way to getting what we want. So in other words, the way that the law of attraction has been explained in The Secret or anything like that is that you can change your frequency, change your vibration by changing your thoughts. And by doing that, you can attract in the things that you want. So that's the very basic explanation. And if you've been around here a little while, you know that I also take that a little bit further already. So I know that yes, thoughts are important and emotions are important, but actually everything that we do, we say, that is all of vibration as well. So your actions, your inactions, the things that you're not doing, the things that you're saying, the real words you're using about yourself, these are all part of your vibration. It's not just the things you're thinking about when you're visualizing your future. So it's really important to think of yourself and look at your whole life and look at what you're really doing day in and day out to really understand what your vibration is. The problem is most of us are manifesting from our subconscious minds without even realizing it. And that's why so much of the work that I do is about inner healing and subconscious reprogramming. So your subconscious mind is actually like 90% of your actions day in and day out. It controls your reactions, your patterns, your limiting beliefs, and all kinds of other things. So without you even realizing it, you are projecting these things into the world around you and therefore living with the results of them, which is why I am such a big proponent of going in, looking at what's in your subconscious mind and reprogramming it to match the things that you want. So that is how I really approach manifestation. But I do know that there are some of you out there that are like, oh, well, if I don't see it, it's not real. Or you're from the scientific perspective that we've all been grown up within. And I totally understand that. So I wanted to create a video today that explains this from a little bit more of a scientific way of looking at things, because I know that me talking in my weird woo speak sometimes, I know that some people don't get that, and I really want to bring this message to as many people as possible. So me going into the scientific world a little bit and sharing a different perspective might bring this to more people, so I'm very happy to do that. So the first way we can explain the law of attraction that is not the woo-woo weird spiritual way that I just talked about is through positive thinking. So you are probably thinking, well, that's stupid. Maybe I'm not the kind of person who wants to be a positive thinker, and maybe you're not, and that's totally okay. On this channel, I am not here to make everybody act the same way, believe the same things. I'm not here to tell you what to do. All I'm doing here today is sharing my perspective, and maybe if there's something in this that you want to take with you, you are welcome to do that. But if you really are firm in being a negative Nelly and looking at the world that way, and that's suiting you, go for it. You are more than welcome to do that. But with that all being said, it is really important to know that positive thinking really does have a positive effect on us humans. Basically, what that means is that in all kinds of different studies, it has been proven that people that are primed to think positively will experience different situations more positively, they will end up happier, and they will also end up being healthier. So on the health front, the thing is that while I definitely don't believe that you can get through life without having negative emotions, I think negative emotions are very much part of being human. It is scientifically proven that our negative emotions are not good for us. So I'm really talking about fear and stress and anxiety and all of those things. Those things actually have a physiological response in our body, which makes us go into fight or flight and can actually create all kinds of problems for ourselves, whether that is anxiety in our mind or over time perpetuating itself into actual physical manifestations and illnesses. We can think ourselves sick. And while I'm not suggesting that one day we'll do it, we can also do the opposite thing. So I'm suggesting that thinking positively will just create a positive filter for you to look at the world. So here's one way of looking at this. There was one study in particular where some groups of people were shown either positive or negative images for a certain period of time. And then after that, they were given a scenario to think about and then to answer how they would react to that scenario. And not surprisingly, the people that were shown the negative images had a negative reaction to the scenario, while the people shown the positive images had a more positive outlook. So this just very much proves that whatever is in our conscious mind, whatever we are looking at before something, can color the way we react to something. And basically that means we can make mountains out of molehills. We can create a negative drama experience about something that doesn't necessarily mean that. And this just proves the power of your brain. And that is, again, why I am so into the idea of brain reprogramming and healing your mind, and really doing all the brain training stuff that I talk about all the time. So maybe you're watching this right now and thinking, well, that really doesn't prove anything. The positive outlook effect does not actually prove that manifestation is real. And yes, you're technically correct. There haven't been any studies that actually prove that this works out into outcomes in our favor. But there are plenty of studies that prove that creating a positive outlook on the world actually, like I mentioned, improves your health and makes you feel more happy and successful overall. So doesn't that sound like the kind of life that you are trying to manifest anyway? At the end of the day, when it comes to manifestation, we are always trying to manifest a feeling. It is never about manifesting the car or manifesting this or manifesting that. We are trying to make ourselves feel a certain way. So if we can train ourselves to look at the world more positively and get more of those positive feelings in return, then aren't we actually kind of manifesting what we want anyway? So these are some very important things for you to think about, especially for you people that are really committed to thinking negatively. I know that this might sound cheesy, it might sound inauthentic, but really the way that your brain is thinking up until now, it is just a habit. Our perpetual thoughts are just habits, and we have the power to change those habits and manipulate those habits to create more of the results that we want. So if you are looking to feel happier, if you are looking to actually be a healthier person, I would really suggest trying to work a little bit of this positive psychology into your life. It is literally scientifically proven to help. Okay, the second thing that I wanted to talk about today, the second way to prove the law of attraction is being real. Today I'm going to talk about the holographic universe theory. So I wrote about this on my blog a few weeks ago, but just in case you missed it, this is actually old news in the manifestation world, but I don't think I've ever once mentioned this on my YouTube channel. Basically, the CIA actually released a document, declassified a document, I should say, that you can now read on the actual CIA website that is all about remote viewing. And to explain the concept of remote viewing, it uses the concept of the holographic universe. So even if you don't listen to another word that I'm saying after this sentence, please know that the CIA has a document on their website proving that we can manipulate reality based on what we think. So to explain what the holographic universe theory is, it is the idea that we are actually living in a projection. We are living in a hologram. And the way a hologram works is that if you chop up a hologram into a bunch of tiny little pieces, each tiny little piece is going to reflect the whole image in itself. So that is how holograms work, and that is perhaps how we work as well. So basically, this theory goes perfectly hand in hand with that magical saying that I tend to use on this channel all the time, which is as above, so below. So basically what this is saying is that you can create an image in your mind, and if you keep bringing that image up and you keep concentrating on that, that can actually result in that thing happening in the real world, which is a pretty mind-boggling thing to think about. And of course, there is a whole bunch of science going in behind the holographic universe theory. I am not going to get into all of that on this video today, but what I wanted to just share with you again is that whole fact that this is on the CIA's website. This is a document that people spent months, maybe years putting together. This is, research by very serious individuals, not just crazy girls on the internet. So if you want to read more about this, I'm going to go ahead and leave a link for that in the show notes. But it is really interesting. Actually, I fully admit I have not read the whole thing because it's really long and it's super dense. But it's really interesting. I kind of skimmed over it. And if you're interested in learning more, I will give you a way to do that below. So the last thing that I wanted to talk about today in this video is the more psychological approach to the law of attraction. And what I'm talking about here is really about the power that our brain has to do things, to experience things that aren't actually happening. To understand how this works, it's important to realize that your subconscious brain doesn't actually know the difference between reality and things it's just thinking about, which is why if you right now close your eyes for just a minute and went back and thought of a time from when you were a kid and you were really angry or really sad or really humiliated about something, those feelings feel so real. It's because you are reacting to them in this current moment as if it is happening to you now, even though this thing happened to you in the past. And on a side note, because of what I mentioned earlier, it's important to realize that because your body is having this physiological reaction now, it is actually physically unhealthy for you to keep dwelling on these same things over and over, because you are putting your body repeatedly into a stressful experience, even though it is all just in your mind. So again, science has proven some crazy things about our brain, and one of the ways that science has proven this theory about our brain is that we can actually visualize things and it will actually have a physiological effect on our body. For example, there have been studies after studies that prove that Olympic athletes who visualize themselves doing certain things, going through the motions and winning, actually have a better chance of actually having an improved performance at the very least, or winning as well. That might sound completely weird or maybe like a coincidence or something, but when we take people into a science lab and actually monitor them, get them to visualize themselves running or, playing tennis or doing whatever it is that they're doing, and when we put on little body monitors and monitor them, we can tell that actually our body is actually reacting on a very subtle level. That means you just thinking about running the race, playing tennis, giving the presentation, whatever it is, your body is actually kind of practicing. So it is actually going through the motions, it is actually almost as good as doing the real thing. You just thinking about something is having an actual literal effect on your body. So this has been scientifically proven in cases when there is physical activity involved, but I would be willing to guess that the same thing applies to our emotional state, our psychological state, our spiritual state as well. The idea of you imagining yourself doing something over and over again is actually training yourself to think of yourself as this person. It is training your emotions. It is training your body. It is training the brain to think a certain way. So of course it is priming you to actually create that experience in your real life, which is really what manifesting is all about. I would actually take this even a step farther and again prove that the idea that us thinking about something or just bringing an object to mind, bringing an outcome to mind is going to prime us to see more of that thing in the world around us. This part of it is actually your reticular activating system at work, which basically explains that funny phenomenon that we have all experienced of you, for example, thinking about buying a yellow car and then suddenly you go outside and realize there are yellow cars everywhere where you had never noticed them before. That is really just your brain suddenly turning this filter on for yellow cars where before the filter was not on. It was the same amount of cars in the world, it's just that your brain is experiencing them in a different way. So why not use visualization that same way? We are trying to visualize a certain outcome in manifestation. We are trying to prime ourselves to create a certain result. But the more that you think about this, the more that you practice being that person, bringing that thing into your world, you are actually also priming yourself to see more of the experiences that might lead you there and to be better prepared when you actually get into these situations. I think this has a lot to do with identity work and really with reprogramming your subconscious mind, which, as you all know, is one of my favorite things to talk about. So those are the 3 points that I wanted to bring up today. And of course, I'm sure that you could get more into the scientific research on every single one of these, but I really wanted to put together this video to sort of wrap up a bunch of different ways you can look at manifestation and the law of attraction and realize that this isn't just woo-woo stuff that crazy people talk about. This is something that you can actually apply to your life using very real-world strategic tools like the tools that I teach. But I just want to wrap things up at the end of this training today to touch on something I brought up at the very beginning of this video. At the beginning, I told you that we manifest from our subconscious mind. We manifest from our conscious mind as well, but we largely manifest from our subconscious mind just because our subconscious mind is such a big part of our brain. I know that there is this classic representation of the subconscious mind as being the big under part of an iceberg. I'll pop that up here. But that really just goes to show just how much of our regular, normal, everyday actions, reactions, sentences, everything is all governed by our subconscious mind. So I'm bringing this up at the end just to show you how this works hand in hand with every single one of the points I brought up today. So again, if we can train ourselves to think of the world in a more positive light, we will create more happiness for ourselves, we will actually become physically healthier, and we will create more positive experiences going forward. Even if you just want to explain that as you priming yourself to think positively about the world rather than actually creating a different reality, I'm okay with that. The whole point is at the end of this that you feel happier and more successful and healthier. For the second point, if we can create our reality because we live in a holographic model, then why not spend a little bit of time actually programming the things that we want to have happen? And again, this goes back to our subconscious mind because again, we are largely projecting from our subconscious mind, which is why so many of us end up in repeating situations and negative situations that we would prefer not to experience anymore. I cannot guarantee anyone a perfect sunshine and rainbows life, but the more you do this stuff, the more you can call in the situations that you actually want to experience. Doesn't make all the bad stuff go away, but you can create more of what you want, and that is really the best that any of us can ask for at the end of the day. Finally, this just also goes to prove that visualization, working with your brain, putting the things that you really want to have into the subconscious mind is so crucial. The more you practice it in your brain, the more it comes into your subconscious mind, and the more it's going to go on autopilot. And when things go on autopilot, that is when they become effortless and easy. So it is really important, again, to think about visualization, to think about programming your mind, priming your brain into creating more of the experiences that you want. We are literally able to color the world that we see with more of what we want just by focusing on these things. So why wouldn't you want to do that, right? Again, if you don't want to go all the way into believing that you are a conscious creator, if the law of attraction still sounds kind of crazy to you, why not at least try out the visualization stuff, the mind priming stuff, and see if you can just hack your way into having more of the things that you want in life. Again, it is not a fix-all. It is not going to make you perfect 24 hours a day, but it will bring you more of what you want and ultimately create you a happier and healthier life. And of course, I think a happier and healthier life is the best that any of us can ask for. So that is it for today's training today. I really hope that this inspired you to get excited again about the law of attraction. I know that in the world of spirituality, sometimes it seems like we're out on a limb and we're talking about things that nobody understands. So it is important for me to come back around sometimes and to connect these things back to stuff that you can look up, research that you can point to. It's going to make you feel a little less crazy and a lot more like, hey, look, everything is working out in my favor, which of course it always is. So thank you so much for watching this video today. I appreciate you so much for spending time in your busy week hanging out here with me. If you haven't picked it up already, come on over to the site. I have a free manifestation planner for you to grab over there, and I'm gonna leave a link for that in the show notes below. If you like this video, give me a like. If you know anyone that could use this message, please pass this along to them. And other than that, I will be back here in next week's training. So until then, have a wonderful, magical week. I love you so much, and I will see you very soon.